Today we wrap up our series of new player introductions with a focus on two local players. They are both former members of the Summerside Western Capitals and are hometown products in the truest sense of the word. Please welcome from Mid-Isle PEI, Kelvin Grove's Landon Clow and Clinton's own Marc Richard. Landon Clow, Marc Richard, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having us.
So boys, I kind of alluded in the intro that you guys are really homegrown products. You played minor hockey together, you played junior A together, you lived together last year, yeah. You've since separated. What's it like knowing that you guys have spent so much time, you've been part of a process, here you are playing at the next level together? Marc, how about you?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. We played, like you said, minor hockey, junior, and now university together. It's pretty cool to have someone that you've shared so many seasons with, play with now at university level, which is kind of, I think it's pretty hard to come by.
Sure, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's very nice, like, you know, coming into it with all these rookies and stuff. I didn't really know many people at all, but I knew Landon, so that was good. And then we kind of just broadened out from there, made new friends, and now we're friends.
Do you stick together a lot, even on the new team?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we still hang out outside the rink, so I think it's great friendship.
Good stuff. Landon?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have someone that you've played with before. You kind of know their tactics and everything. That you know where they are in the ice, and you know, to have someone who plays with you a lot, share some of the same qualities and stuff like that. So,
did you guys play in the same line together a lot growing up? Because you're kind of different players, right? Like
through Bantam and Midget, we did, for sure. And then once we got the Summerside, it's kind of spread out a little bit. But we did always get back to playing with each other here and there.
And did you always kind of the same roles? Like, you know, Marc, you've been a little more on the offensive side. Landon, you're a little more well-rounded in terms of your, you know, not to say that you're not playing on both sides of the ring. Don't want to give that impression, right? But were the roles kind of always clearly defined?
Kind of, I think so. Yeah, from as far as I can remember, kind of just. I mean, just recently in my junior years, I've kind of became more offensive. I've always been that defensive kind of player, but like just through those couple years, like I played junior 5 years, and the last 2 I found my offensive side really kind of came out and shone.
You had a great last year too.
Yeah,
good for you. So boys, I want to give a little bit of love to the Summerside Western Caps organization, and in particular, when I think of the Caps, I think of Billy McGuigan, I think of Pat McKeever, George Roberts before that, in terms of the amount of work that George did, in terms of Gabe Keogh, guys like that. But when you think about it, you know, you guys played all your junior time in Summerside. If you think back on the time that you spent, how do you think they've helped you progress to where you are here today?
They definitely set you up for success. They treat you like pros. They want you to play like pros. They give you a nice big rink in Summerside with the Cup. It's a great facility that I got there. You have your own room. You have access to all the facilities and stuff like that. So they give you the assets to become a better player, and you definitely take that and you run with it to definitely set you up for success.
Marc?
Yeah, I definitely can't say enough good things about Summerside and the staff there. Like Landon said, the rink, for sure. We are treated like pros, absolutely. I think it's probably the best junior A rink or facility in Canada, to be honest.
I think you're right up there.
Yeah, and the staff, like Landon said, is top notch. They always were there for us whenever we needed them, no matter what, and definitely set us up for success.
I did a quick scour. I just kind of looked through some of the teams that Billy had, and by my rough calculations, without doing any kind of in-depth research, I counted 22 players that have gone on to play either AUS. Think of a guy like Ed McNeil up in the OUA this year. I don't care what organization you're talking about. If you're producing that many players, you're doing something right as an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, everyone's 20-year. Billy usually reaches out and asks, you know, kind of if you're willing or I guess want to make that next step to university hockey. So you know, he kind of gets us all together and asks us our options, kind of where we'd like to go. Then he reaches out and, you know, branches out from there.
He's got connections.
Absolutely, yeah. So he really helped me for sure. I'm sure Landon as well. Settled here in UPI.
Good. One of the things you always hear about Billy is that Billy's old school. Billy's old school, you know. But I think if you look at a guy like Billy, is that a fair assessment or is that an unfair assessment when you think about it? Or is that a good thing? Or if you hear that words, and I know Billy's been around for a long time and he's evolved as a coach, but still people kind of say that. Is that fair or not?
The old school term is actually a pretty good one to use because just like anyone from the island, you want to play as meat and potatoes. You want to play in the corners. You want to be gritty. You want to be good on both sides of the puck. Sure. So using that term is definitely a good thing for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with Landon. Like, he's all about being gritty and pesky and tenacious, as he says. That's what he named his hockey school after.
That's right, tenacity hockey. How appropriately named.
Yeah, so he likes that side of the game, and that's what he preaches for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have refereed Billy back in the day, saw him play growing up, and that's the way he played, right? And no, but you got to give credit. I mean, coached the Canada East 2 times, World Junior A. His sledge hockey involvement, you know, this is a guy that just loves hockey. Yeah, and I mean, the same could be said for Pat too. You think about the hours that he puts in,
100%,
putting that team together. Right?
Yeah, he puts in a lot of work behind the scenes, and it definitely doesn't go unnoticed though.
Right. And you can't remain at the top of the league for that long without doing the right things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, boys. One of the things that always happens, a big event, is when you get your first AUS goal. Landon, you've had some limited action here, of course, due to injuries. Marc, you got yours big weekend last weekend. A couple of goals against St. FX, the winner, and a deflection in front of the net. But if I ask you about your first AUS goal, what do you remember? What was it like? Landon, I'll start with you.
It was actually my first game back from injury, actually, and I know it's either off a face-off or we got a chip play out of our own end, and we're lucky enough that all 3 guys get out. The defenseman fell down at the red line, had the puck bounce by him. We ended up getting on a 3-on-1. I ended up being the trailing guy that got it late, and I lucked to throw a far side of the 2 guys going back door, and it ended up squeaking through his arm and dropping in behind him. Wasn't an absolute bullet going into the net, but
that's pretty good. You're selling yourself short there, big man.
It counts.
Yeah, for sure. Was it Helvig or what? Matty Welsh?
Helvig, I believe.
Okay, Marc, what about you?
Yeah, mine was against Dalhousie here at home. From what I can remember, it was kind of a turnover at the blue line, and Caleb Pearson kept it in and took a shot on net. And I just grabbed the rebound and kind of fell into my stomach, but somehow found the back of the net.
Not quite as pretty as you right?
No.
Maybe not quite as memorable.
No, not at all.
Right? But you know, when you're looking at it, guys, you think about Landon. I mentioned your injury. You're 5 games in. You've been battling an injury since Bantam, groin injury, hard to heal. Marc, you've been in the lineup on a regular basis. In terms of that adjustment, we always say it takes a while to get used to this league. How do you feel you're adjusting to the league? Start with you, Landon.
I feel like I'm adjusting well. I'm using my 200-foot game to kind of get myself in there a little bit easier, I guess. It's definitely a heavier lead to get used to than what we come from in Junior A, but for us, with the speed that we play at, the pace is just the small thing to adjust to, where it's not as big as the physicality part of it.
Sure. Marc?
Yeah, no, I agree. It took a little bit to get going and get used to the league, but like Landon said, it's a little bit rougher, but we're island boys, so we can take it. Yeah, but the speed's a big thing. Like Landon said, the pace was kind of easier to adjust to because like him and I both play with quite a bit of pace. And I also tried to implicate my 200-foot game because you know scoring's not quite as easy. But no, I hope it continues. But 200-foot player is definitely where I'm probably going to be at.
Sure. And I think about you know, I often draw parallels with a guy like TJ Shea. When TJ came into the league, what he put up 110 points his last year junior. Took him a while to get going. and once he found his groove, man, he kind of took off. Like, do you kind of draw maybe some inspiration from that, Mark, in terms of thinking about, okay, well, that could be me one day?
Yeah, absolutely. I played with TJ in junior, actually, so he was my captain my first year. And I always looked up to him there, so seeing him kind of have a slow start here, but then progress and succeed the way that he has, I think is definitely a big inspiration.
Sure. So, boys, I want to talk about your individual style for a minute. I mean, Landon, your father, Donnie, Quack, we called him, you know, back in the day, played 5 years here at UPEI, was a member of at least 2 championship teams, maybe 3. He won a championship with me, our first one in '85, which was a big win. Got to be pretty cool knowing that you're playing at the same university your father played at.
Yeah, it's definitely surreal to be playing here and having his history, I guess, that I'm following into, and it's nice to see that everyone who's around the rink, whether that be you or Ron that are still around, that's played on the team with him and stuff like that. So, and also the referees and fans and stuff like that, how, like my first game when we were playing UNB, I had Justin come over to me and say, nice to see you.
Summerside guy.
Nice to see you're following your father's footsteps.
Yeah,
so
cool. Nice.
It's definitely nice to have those connections and following his footsteps here.
Did you guys talk a lot about like Quack's days at UPI? Like, was that a conversation that you guys would have had growing up, talking about, you know, maybe is this something that could happen? It's a conversation that you guys would have had on a regular basis, or at all?
Not necessarily. He always talked about how, like, if I was taking one of my games in minor hockey, he'd say how they used to play UPEI, like, you should try this, like, trying different things to throw it in.
Sure.
And then I always remember coming here for alumni nights for the games and stuff like that to celebrate the championship teams. So.
Pace of play is good on those nights.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about, we were talking off-set, but Quack's still playing today, right? A couple times a week.
Yeah. Battered and bruised now. But
battered and bruised, right?
He's still
you got the ice
playing.
packs going on.
Yeah.
One commonality that I see with you and Quack, I mean, Quack was probably one of the nicest skaters I ever played with. Just a beautiful technical stride. You've got a lot of those qualities too, and Quack would have learned that. There was no skating schools back then. He would have, I don't know where he learned it, but he was a beautiful skater. And I see a lot of those similarities. Did he work on that with you when you were younger, or is that just something genetics has passed on?
I'd say some of it might be genetics, but he coached me my younger years in hockey, so he definitely helped me get on the ice a lot more. Yeah. And then I always went with Julian McNeil in Summerside for power skating throughout, and he always helped out with that too. So I kind of have that to fall back on.
Kind of like Dave Shellington did here in town. Yeah,
definitely.
Good. Did you ever see him play? Like, did you ever see footage of him playing or anything like that?
Not when he was younger. I always just see the old alumni games out here.
The old alumni games, yeah. It's just a mirror of his past. It's a shade of his past. Yeah. So, Mark, going back to your play, I mean, you guys and you and Landon are kind of following into different roles. You've kind of slotted into, I'd say, a top 6 position. Playing some time in the PP. You got a goal, like I said, a couple of goals the other night on the power play. When you think about that, were you expecting maybe to have as big a role as you're having right now on the team?
Coming into it, I definitely did not think so. I did play power play and top minutes last year, but 20-year-old last year, and coming in first year AUS, I really didn't expect that, but I couldn't be more grateful, and I'm trying not to take it for granted, that's for sure.
Yeah. What's going to be your focus? I mean, going back to the TJ part, in terms of how he made that leap, what do you think you have to do in your game to sort of move you along and help you progress?
I think confidence is going to be huge. Just, after the last weekend, I feel like I do have my confidence back for sure, but I feel like I might have lost it for a little while, but now that I have it back, I hope to keep it and kind of just build off that.
Good stuff. Right on. So if you look at the team, boys, October was rough. 2-6 start. Couldn't get a win at home except for the Dalhousie bombing. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. The November was better. 5-4-1. Finished off the first half in 5th place. Second half's been good. I mean, points in 8 of the last 9 games, points in 6-1, 2-1, I think, in the last 11 games.
Yeah.
Things are turning around with this team as we're getting into playoff time.
Yeah, for sure.
How's that feel?
Feels great, especially like you said, after a slow start. I think we're finally clicking as a team, and everyone's buying in. That's a big thing for me. Says like, we got to buy into what we're doing, and I think we're finally getting around to that, and I think it's just going to go up from there. Is
the discussion kind of changing? I mean, the goal at the start of the year was playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs are looking good right now, so that goal, that box has been checked. Now there's a discussion changed into that 3rd and 4th position as opposed to just a playoff position. Is that part of the discussion, or is that even part of the equation?
Some yes and no kind of thing. It's
we always talked about 5-game segments too, right?
Yeah. We did that in the first half of the year. I'm not exactly sure if we started that back up again second half, but no, we're starting to click together as a group now, and we're starting to see that commitment from everyone buying in to playing the right way. And now that we're getting on a roll, it's starting to be evident that we know we can be better than what we are right now.
Yeah. Big test this week, right?
Yeah.
2 teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
In UMB undefeated, 22-0. They've clinched first place. UDM, looking like they're going to nail down the 2nd spot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So boys, what's schooling looking like? What do you, you probably did some schooling, I would assume, when you were playing in Summerside. Probably knocked a few credits off.
Yeah.
What's schooling looking like, or maybe even future plans?
I'm in psychology right now, so I'm enjoying that for my time here. Like you said, I took classes for when I was playing with the Caps as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get my degree, and then I'd like to be an RCMP officer. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, they'll be looking for them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're hurting for them. So.
Has that always been something you always wanted to do, Mark? Has that always been on your radar? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Both my parents are retired RCMP officers, so I kind of want to follow in their footsteps. And
nice.
Yeah.
Did you move around a lot with them? Like, did they move?
Yeah.
It used to be a thing when you'd always go to different spots.
Yeah, kind of. Like I was born in Halifax, but I grew up, I guess you'd say, in PEI.
Right.
We moved here when I was 6 years old, so I started school here in Charlottetown, actually.
Okay.
I played for Sherwood growing up.
Okay.
And then my first year band was actually when I moved to Clinton, and we haven't moved since then.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
The things you learn.
Yeah, for sure.
Landon, what about you?
I'm in the business program here.
Yeah.
I'm in my 4th year. I've been a full-time student since I started playing in Summerside. So I still got another year left to complete the degree, but after that I'm either thinking of a master's or double majoring in something. So
good.
As long as I keep playing hockey, I guess I can do whatever.
You'll keep going to school as long as 4 of you will keep you around.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. All right. Well, boys, listen, speaking of having you around, it's great to see the Island boys. I love having the Island boys in the team, and I especially love when the Island boys come in and can contribute. And you guys are making a great contribution, so keep her up. Good luck this week, and
Thank you.
Bring her home.
Thank you
very much. Thanks for having us.
Okay, boys.